Good afternoon, everyone. You guys know me. I am Nancy Quinn. Ganzekaufer is my last name from the past, and now I'm Nancy Quinn. So you'll be seeing that change coming. And I am here today with Robert and Phil from Daniel House Club. And you guys are part of Daniel House Club's concierge department, correct?
That's right. Yeah, we both. I manage the concierge services team, and Phil is one of our leads. And yeah, so we're always around chatting with our members one-on-one.
Excellent. Okay, I'm just sharing to other platforms if you see me looking around. So, Robert, tell us first about Daniel House Club, where everyone can find you, what you do for them, and then we're going to get into the concierge department and exactly how much you help designers do their jobs.
Sure. So Daniel House Club, we actually were formed in 2020, right before the pandemic, believe it or not, kind of an opportune time because a lot of people started nesting at that point. And a lot of interior designers had a lot of business during that time, believe it or not. So, of course, when we started in January of 2020, we had no idea what was going to be happening 2 months later in March of 2020. So it's kind of unbelievable that it's 5 years later and we are here. And we really are a wholesale marketplace with project management tools that are also on our system that allow designers and people in the design industry, so really anybody in the design trade, it could be an architect, it could be a purchasing agent, could be a general manager for an architectural or interior design firm. We really kind of cater to a lot of different folks. And it's not just sole proprietors. We also have small firms of 2 to 5, sometimes even up to 10 people or more that we work with. And like I said, also purchasing agents who work for a lot of these firms as well. And we were founded on the premise that we would be basically the premier platform for interior designers to not only be able to activate and look at items and purchase them, but also have the most unique items as well. So we obviously have, some of the big wholesalers out there who we work with. We only work with wholesalers. We don't work with retailers because they provide the best margins to designers and people in the trade. Whereas retailers, your margins are not great at all. And we also were founded on the premise that we wanted for interior designers to be able to make the most amount of money on their product and have the biggest margins with product, because that's one of the ways in which designers make money on their projects.
Yes, and it's I tell all my profit insiders to go to you guys because you are trying to, and often succeed, most of the time succeed in getting them the best discount that they can get. Where they go directly to the manufacturer, they often do not get the discount that you guys can get them.
Right. Oftentimes, there's a couple of barriers. Sometimes they don't have the volume when you're a new business or a small business to work directly with the vendors. We do not have those barriers, so there's no order minimums. It's actually quite easy. And then we have access to, right now, over 250 vendors and in one place. So it's just, you don't have to deal with 250 different ways of doing business. Literally, you're only doing business with us. And so our team, the concierge services team, facilitate that management, sort of the back office, if you will. And I always call it the cradle to grave management of sourcing, which is literally everything from product selection all the way through to ordering, getting samples, swatches, everything else. And then also post-transaction, handling claims, handling warranty claims, damage and defect claims, all of that.
So let's talk about this a little bit, because this is where designers get the most scared, right? Well, how am I going to talk to a rep if I need to talk to a rep? Or how am I going to get samples if I need to get a sample? Or what if it didn't turn out to be what I thought it was going to be and I need help, right? So let's talk about your concept. You and Phil live and work, you manage it, Phil works with you. This is the part that I hear as a business coach to interior designers time and time again, that you guys are what really makes a difference when it comes to this company, because they're getting great pricing already, but now they're also getting great help.
Yeah, I think honestly, when I first started with this company, being a former interior designer myself, Phil is also an interior designer and actually still dabbles in it. I dabble in it for just my family and friends at this point.
Right.
But we understand what those pain points are. We know how to talk with interior designers. We know how to talk with vendors. We know what questions to ask. And as I develop this team out, the Concierge Services team, I'm only hiring people who either A, are former interior designers or current interior designers, or B, at least have worked with people in design trade. And so that way we understand all the pain points, we understand the ins and outs of how this business runs, and we can effectively talk to our members and get them the answers that they need. And I think that's what really sets us apart is our Concierge Services team
Yeah.
from
So smart.
from our competitors, because there's a lot of folks that do what we do,
Yes.
purchasing wise and
Yes.
sourcing wise, but there's not a lot of people who actually have a full service concierge and really mean it.
Correct.
So I think that also is a big differentiator for us because, like I said, we handle everything from product selection. So, you have a mood board, an inspiration board, even if you have a schedule already, you can just send us that and be like, hey, you know what? Can you just see if you have these items? Or if you don't, can you find items that look similar to that? Maybe the client is looking at, Crate and Barrel or some retailer. You don't want to go through Crate and Barrel because you're not going to get a good margin.
That's
So
correct.
we can hopefully find items that either are similar or exactly the same. Sometimes the wholesalers actually produce furniture for the retailers, and we can find things that are very similar or that sometimes are even exact matches.
Wow.
So we do that. And then, of course, the ordering aspect as well. You can just, purchase the item, take your full discount, invoice offline. But then there's also features where you can interact with your client and collaborate in both a non-transactional and a transactional way to share your project ideas and also then be transactional to complete the transaction. And you don't even have to be involved in it because they can just transact directly through the website.
Okay, so let me put that in different wording for the interior designers who are watching live on Instagram or on replay or on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. So here's what happens. You guys sign a job, you get the job, you've got 2-3 rooms or a full house worth of furniture to choose. You start doing your thing, doing your mood boards, doing your floor plans, selecting your product, your colors, your inspiration, and you get the client says, yes, let's go forward. Now you're getting to select product. You want to make sure you're making the most amount of money you can make on your product. I tell everyone to go right up to retail if possible and just say, I do my best to keep my prices at or under retail. Now they go to Daniel House Club. How do they contact the concierge department to say, I have a project that I may need help with? How do they do that?
Yeah. So one of many ways is they can just literally email us. They can email to the general support box, which is just concierge@danielhouse.club. And any one of our concierges will pick up and answer questions. We usually are very quick and efficient with our turnaround time. Or once you sign up for our service and to become a member, you can work one-on-one with somebody as well. It's really your preference. So if you are better at working with somebody one-on-one, or if you just need a quick answer, or if you're kind of like, you know what, I don't really care to work with just an individual, I just need an answer.
Right.
Then you can, email into the general support box. But there's also not only just email, they can call. And I think the most important thing about calling us is you talk to a live person whenever you call.
Yes.
You're not going to talk to a voicemail box ever. And
that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it was very important for us when we started the company because so many times when you call vendors directly, you're just put into a voicemail box, and sometimes they give you a call back, sometimes they don't. You never know. So really it's having that personal touch and being able to access in all different manners. So phone call, email. We also have live chat that's open during our business hours on the website. So if you have a quick question, you can just live chat in. So yeah, many different ways in which you can contact us. There's also forms on our website that you can submit a form if you have a question about a product or a vendor or, anything really.
Okay, so they can then shop through your website, create a shopping cart that they can pay you, they can bill their client, or they can set up the shopping cart with their margins that they want to collect on each of those items, send that shopping cart to their client for them to pay directly if they want, if that's their design only and that fits their business model or whatever they sold to the client. Can they also do just piecemeal?
Yeah, absolutely. So, our system works on what we call a project board model, which is you create these sort of blanket projects and then boards within the project, such as, you can do a living room or do it by room, or you can do it by vendor, or you can do it however you really want to organize yourself with your projects. And then you can create the cart, which acts as sort of like a pro forma invoice to your client. From multiple boards within the project, or from an individual board, or however you really want to split it up. You can
Okay.
also just put it into a cart and not associate it to any sort of project and just check out if you're just maybe purchasing it for just a one-off purchase. But
Mhm.
we highly recommend utilizing the project board model because it keeps things organized. It also, you can understand exactly what you ordered for a particular project. And also,
Mhm.
even with the board model, you can look at your thought process. So if you had one board where you had your initial ideas, maybe, and then subsequent boards where you had a more culled down version of that after you collaborated with your client and they made decisions.
Mhm.
So we really try and push utilizing the project board model for many reasons, but primarily because it's just a good way to stay organized. And then
Yeah.
once you're done with them, you can archive them so they're not in your current view. They're just basically archived and you can access them at any time, which is really
Okay. It's
so.
amazing.
Yeah,
Keeping organized is probably one of the most difficult things for interior designers, right? There's so many moving parts and so many different pieces of physical product that they're presenting, changing, referring, and selling. It's a lot to choose. So to keep it organized is really important. What are some of the problems and obstacles that designers have that they come to you that you can help them solve?
Yeah, I think couple. One would be around actually just getting pricing in general. The process for getting pricing directly from vendors sometimes can be very antiquated,
Yeah.
where you have to say, "Oh, can you send me a quotation for this?" There's none of that with us, because when you're logged into the site, you will see your pricing right away. You'll know exactly how much your full discount is. And then when you associate a product with a project board that you create, you can then elect whether or not to share a portion of your discount or not with your client. You're never required to share a portion of your discount ever. I
Right.
know I think that's a huge myth in our industry, that you must share your discount. Nope,
Yes. Nope.
nope, nope, nope.
Please do not,
Yeah,
actually. It's
please
the way I look at it. Please
try
do
to,
not, because then
try
it
to
messes
keep
up the next designer who is doing it right, right? So,
try to keep as much of that as you can. I mean, the way that I wrote it into my contracts was that you just won't pay retail. I never told them exactly how much, but I would give them a slight discount. It was like 2.5%, 5%, sometimes 10 if they were really good and purchasing a lot from me, but
yeah.
rarely did I go above that.
Yeah, and we sell contracts as well. And the lawyer who wrote the contract said, you don't have to say anything. Besides, we act as the retailer and all purchases happen through us. You don't have to tell them how much of anything. But I always say, like you, verbally say, I do my best to keep my prices at or under retail. I
Yeah,
do my best, right? So
yeah,
you designers need the margin on their furnishings to be a profitable business. Otherwise, there's really not enough money to run your business.
exactly.
So,
So
okay. So,
pricing is one, and then
yeah.
I would say the other big one is around damage, defect, and warranty claims. We
Mm,
know we hate that this is a part of our business, but it is a part of our business, and that's unfortunate. We have
yeah.
items that are just shipping all over the country. Sometimes they're shipping from a vendor, then to a white glove agent if they're doing sort of white glove delivery. You know, there's many hops to these things sometimes, and in that process, it's unfortunate, but it's a reality. So the nice thing about that is the designers don't have to manage any of that process with us. So they can literally, even if it's going to a receiver, they can just direct the receiver to send the email directly to our concierge inbox with the photos, with the damage report, copy them into the email, and we will automatically just get that started for them, the claim started with the vendor directly, and also with the carrier if it's a damage.
That's huge. That's huge right there. By the way, on Instagram, Virginia from Dwell Style Interior said, in quotes, "We act as the retailer. Memorize this, Virginia." So absolutely, Virginia, memorize that. So yeah, all that you help them with saves them time.
Yeah. It's all about basically us acting as their back office.
Yes.
And so we handle what we like to say the business of design. And, it really fits well with how designers, especially sole proprietors. I mean, I know if I would have had this service when I was a designer, who knows what would have been possible. And Phil, same thing,
Yes.
so yeah, so it's, I think having people at your beck and call to just answer even the silliest of questions, when you think it's silly, it's not silly for us because we'll know the answers. And if we don't, we'll get it for you and we follow up.
Yes.
And I think that's also an important aspect of what we do is, in fact, right before this broadcast, I was returning phone calls from our clients because sometimes they get through to our receptionist, our live receptionist. And there was a phone call that came in after hours. And she just said, you know what? She said, I already spoke with somebody, but thank you for calling back. And thank you for calling me back because sometimes I don't even get calls from people.
Yes.
And she was just like, you guys are so awesome. And I don't mean to pat ourselves on the back or anything.
No, this is your time to pat yourself on the back. This is why we're here, to let everybody know how much you actually can do for an interior designer. That helps them, save them time and money. And some of what you actually do from a business coach perspective is billable through to the client because they would have been the one doing it. So you're like you said earlier, you're their back office. You're their design assistant. You're the person when they have no one else to ask, does this sofa and these window treatments look good to get? Right? You need people sometimes to bounce your creative stuff off of. They bounce a lot of business stuff off of me, but the creative stuff, it's really nice to have other designers like you guys invested in their projects.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things we've discussed as a group internally is it would be wonderful to be able to quantify the time that Daniel House spends to what could potentially be billed through our members to their end clients as billable time, as what you were just saying, because there's a lot of time.
By the way, I teach my profit insiders how to do that.
Yeah.
Because it is billable time.
I think eventually we will end up surveying our members to ask them about this because it'll definitely be something. It'll be a huge marketing point actually for us to be able to market to more interior designers to be like, hey, you want to spend X amount of time or X percentage of your time doing all this, or would you rather just have somebody kind of do it for you?
If I was a full-blown interior designer right now at this age, I would be using you guys every day of the week because the ordering, tracking, delivery, damages, coordination of all of that is not easy. It's time consuming, and they have to have a staff member help them if they get too many jobs because they can only take on as many jobs as their capacity allows them to. Correct? Right? So having you guys, and there's the cat. We talked about the cat before we went live, everybody. That's why I'm making noise at the cat. So it's literally like I don't have to hire a design assistant sometimes because I'm using Daniel House Club, right? So someone in Instagram is saying, it seems like this is a purchasing agency. This helps independent designers.
Yep. Yeah. And I like to say, a lot of people call us a purchasing group. We're much more than a purchasing group. A lot of purchasing groups will literally just kind of put you in contact with vendors, and then you're responsible for managing the process with the vendor. Correct. That's not how we operate. We are a full service company that manages the entire process for you so that you can focus on being creative, which is really the most important thing for designers. So
love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Phil, I'd love to know what you feel your greatest, not you personally, but the concierge department. What do you think the the greatest aspect of it is for designers who are using Daniel House?
Well, just to be there at their beck and call, essentially, to help them with finding products, getting pricing, getting items added as quickly as possible, assisting with claims on the unfortunate occurrence that they happen, and just being that advocate for all our members to get the answers that they need as quickly as possible.
I love that word, advocate. That's a great word. You are their advocate when it comes to the procurement, the purchasing and procurement.
Yeah.
And also with issues like, advocacy can roll over into that as well. Oftentimes vendors take a very hard line stance on things when it comes to damages or defects or things like that. And it's like, because we have the volume that we're doing with these vendors, we can go to bat and be like, you know what? No, this is not an acceptable response. And we can't give this to our member, let alone their end client. It's not. Yeah. So like a lot of times if you're working with the vendors directly, that would be where that conversation ended. If with their determination on a claim or whatever the case might be. With us, we can kind of go back and be like, I think you really need to kind of rethink this.
Yeah, we don't like this policy. And if you don't have us purchasing from you anymore, and we're purchasing for 100 designers or more or less, whatever it is, I'm just throwing out a number, you're going to lose us. They're going to change policy sometimes for you guys, but not necessarily for that solo designer sitting in his or her home.
And having said that, for the solo designer, as a solo designer myself, I think having inroads to get finished samples and swatches very easily for designers who are purchasing remotely. A lot of people don't have access to showrooms and to see fabrics and finishes in person is really helpful. I wish I had that when I was doing this more on my own.
Yes.
That's another service that I think is a great value add.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Well, we covered a lot today. Is there anything else, Robert, you wanted to cover today to let everyone know what Daniel House Club can do for them?
I think the only other thing is just, we're constantly innovating our website to include new features, new functionality, addressing issues that may be a little cumbersome from the user standpoint on our website. Nothing's perfect, but I think it's a pretty darn good system at this point, but we're always seeking ways to improve and make things easier and simpler for our members. So one of the things actually we just added was the ability to add custom line items to invoices / what we call carts on our website to clients when you're sending it. So if you're kind of sick of coming up with 3 or 4 different ways to invoice your client when it comes to fees and furniture and all these other things, you can literally just put it on one invoice, create a custom line item on our website.
Oh, so they can put their design fee on there. They can put their...
If they purchase a vintage item for a project, they can put that on there.
Okay, antiques, things they're purchasing outside of your system, they can add to an invoice, bill through you guys.
Right. Yep.
Okay, so that's the bill that would, if they're choosing to have the client pay it directly, that's when they would choose that particular option.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And then one of the other things we have an option to do is check out as your client. So if your client has given you the authority to use their credit card, you can check out as them with a shared discount if you wish, if not at retail. And check out as them rather than sending it to them. So it's essentially 3 ways that you can check out on our website, which is really nice. So
really nice. And they can choose per item what the margin and markup is.
It's actually per board at this point. Now we are looking into doing it by line item because we know that that's really important to be able to do that line item. But if you just give a little forethought into how you're creating your boards, you can just put in, items that are going to be at a certain discount by board, and then make that determination as far as what the discount can be. But it can be a different discount by board, so it's quite easy.
Oh, easy. Okay, got it. Okay. Anything else we want to cover today?
Nothing on my end, Phil. On your end?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think we covered a ton. I mean, the bottom line is everybody has to go over to danielhouse.club. That's how you get onto it on the internet, not .com. danielhouse.club. Usually it's up on the top, but we didn't want to block our faces. So it's not there at the moment, but it's in our description of our live here. So
Yeah.
go on over. And so their first step when they get to your website, if they want to know more.
Yeah. So there's a join club page, which talks about literally a side-by-side view of the different levels of discount. So there's 2 levels of membership. One is called Pro, and the other is called Signature. Pro is volume level pricing, so it's up to about a 30% discount off of MAP. And then Signature is our top tier member discount, and that affords you about a 50% discount off of MAP. And there's different price structures within both of those, depending on which one you elect. The Pro level has a free level. So if you're just kind of unsure that you maybe don't want to pay anything right now, you can just sign up for free. It's literally free.
I was gonna say, is there any hidden costs? Yeah.
No hidden costs. And then the paid version of Pro will afford you free standard shipping on all orders. And it's $9 a month. So it's actually quite an easy price point, a good entry point to give us a try.
Yes.
And then you can also just sign up for free to just kind of get familiar with the site, create projects, create boards, see how it operates. And also when you sign up for an account with us, usually within 2 to 3 days, one of our concierge team members will reach out and they'll schedule a one-on-one meeting with you to just go over your current projects, talk about any questions you may have, and also to do a demo of the site as well.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for being here today. And thank you for being a sponsor of my world here. We want to make sure everyone gets to know who you are. It's a game changer for My Profit Insiders, truly, no matter what stage they're in. A new designer doesn't know what they're doing yet to buy direct and doesn't do the volume. So Daniel House Club is a great option. A designer who's been in business for a long time and has 4 or 5 members of their team and they're thinking about hiring someone else. How about we try this instead and save the salary? People get nervous about not having it in-house and not having the control. But I hear you guys give weekly updates as well and are very great at answering the phone and answering questions and giving updates.
Yeah, we do provide weekly open order reporting, which gives you an inside detail on all of your orders by project, on any updates to shipping dates, estimated shipping dates, etc.
Huge.
And then the other thing I just want to quickly mention before we leave is the last Thursday of every month, we do what we call our concierge hour. And it's an open forum for all of our members to attend. And we usually have some sort of educational component to it as well. So last month, we had Wendy Estella, who is a lawyer who works directly with interior designers. And she's created this niche market just working not only in contracts for interior designers, but also dispute resolution and things like that. Very, very important. And she's going to become a regular guest. And, these are usually attended by about 50 or so of our members. And it's, like I said, the last Thursday of every month at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And it's just a unique opportunity for all of us to have an open forum with our membership. And also, you can just interject and talk at any time and ask questions. It's not a very formal.
Right. It's like open office hours. What's going on in everyone's business and how can we help you?
Yeah. And then lastly, we're starting to do designer roundtables in key geographic areas. I'm doing these in person as well as virtually. And so last year I went out California, Fort Worth, Texas. This year I'm doing in March, I believe I'm going to be doing Richmond, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and also suburban Connecticut in the New York City area as well.
Nice.
So
traveling man.
So if you have, if you're a member of a group or have some sort of a group of interior designers that and you want to get a group together, these are not meant to be dog and pony shows with Daniel House. They're really meant to be encouraging the design community to be a community,
Yes.
and also to understand pain points. And we really want to understand those so we can improve our product and what we offer service wise to our clients. So
such a great company. So glad you guys are growing so fast because you're doing it so well. So I'm happy for you. Are you going to be in High Point, you guys, in April
Yeah.
by any chance?
we are, and we're going to have our first activation at High Point. So an in-person activation, which will be very cool.
Okay.
Excited about that. And
Yeah.
we'll be there for spring and for fall. And yeah, just look out for more on our newsletters that get sent out. So yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Robert, and thank you, Phil, from Daniel House Club, to let us know about your service, because it's really just a great service. Anyone who's listening, live or on replay, go over to danielhouse.club. If you don't use them today, check them out. At least get the free plan so you can get your wet your whistle, so to speak, on how much you guys can actually do for the designers. So we will see you next month. And I look forward to seeing you guys in April at High Point. I think we're going to try to do something together.
Yeah, definitely.
So that should be fun. All right.
Good to see you.
Everyone go over to danielhouse.club, sign up, check them out. And if you have any questions, call the concierge and talk to Robert or Phil. They will help you out. All right.
Exactly.
Thanks, guys. I will see you next time.
All right. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Nancy. Take care.
Bye. Take care. Bye, everyone.